They lead the league in turnovers, and we're going to talk more about the Broncos game. So having all your, not weapons, but all your protection there is huge.
Everything you need.
Yes, even though Taylor hasn't been playing his best games as of late, they need him. They need him to play well.
I agree. Past that, though, the injury report, I guess we could move on to this next thing, because I did put a question here in the prep for this segment. I wanted to make sure we got you guys' injury report before we got into the show, because we're talking everything Detroit Lions basically today. First thing I want to talk about here, Broder, is can we just go back to kind of the fan base and kind of this kind of feeling around the fans in the Lions Nation right now? I was thinking about this today, and I was like, I want to bring this up on the show.
Do it.
Lions fans.
I don't get the feeling that everyone's as grateful as they should be for this season that's happening right now. And I don't want to sound like a slappy, like I know Stick kind of, when the loss happened, it was like a fresh wound, and Stick was like, we should all be grateful. Like a couple days into it now, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it, like they're 9-4. They haven't lost a back-to-back game. Yes, things have been a little bit more rough than you kind of expected at the beginning of the year, but I had this like kind of coming to like life moment earlier today when I was at work, and I was just sitting there by myself, and I'm like, do we all, like everyone in the chat, all of you guys listening, do you guys all realize the Detroit Lions have not, since 1993, have not won a division? Since 1993, the Detroit Lions have not won a division title. That, and I had that moment, like I already knew that, but I had that moment to where
30 years.
I was just like, we're all sitting here kind of moping around, like complaining about the quarterback, complaining about this. And I know it's our job to break the game down. It's our job to talk about this and that. But when we're doing it, I don't think some people realize how like insane and how big of a season this is for the organization moving forward as a whole. Because you have not done what they're about to do in 93 years, or they can do in 93 years. And I had that moment today to where I like sat back and I'm like, 93 years, I'm sorry, since 1993.
Okay, yeah, I was like doing the math in my head. I was like,
I'm
40s?
Since 93. Yeah, I apologize. But you see what I'm saying here?
Yes,
I was just like kind of shocked. I was like, we've been like even me, I've done it. I think everyone here that's been on this desk has done it and been like going at the Lions so hard. It's like, hey, they're really about to do something that they haven't done since 93. That is insane.
Yeah.
That is nuts. And then when that happens, you can go win a playoff game, which you haven't done for the same amount of time, and you're going to probably have a home field advantage to start that. Like, I don't think that Lions fans and all of us kind of realize and have taken a step back to kind of take in that moment a little bit, because we're so worried because the 7-2 start, the big kind of Chiefs win, all these different wins, everyone's like, oh, maybe Super Bowl. And I've been a victim of that, to where I'm at the Booner Path, the Super Bowl. I just wanted to throw that out there. We should all be kind of a little bit being like, this is history, because we haven't seen it in what, 20 something years.
Yeah, no, you're true. It's true. We fans, we have to learn, and media have to learn how to cover, how to support a good team. This is new to everybody in Detroit, almost everybody in Detroit who wasn't alive in 93 or wasn't old enough. So that's a real thing. Learning how to deal with defeat while you're at the top is a different feeling than being 1-6 and lose, another game, and being the joke of the league. Now it's like we have all this optimism. We're all positive. We're all ready to go. Every loss, it just brings you down. It's like a missed opportunity. Oh, we lose. That means someone else is going to take that next spot up. The Cowboys are doing well. The Eagles aren't doing well. This is our chance to take a step ahead of them. There's a lot of emotion to it, and that's why there's been a lot of coach talk on these interviews and the press conference and player press conference, but at least the main message is they're just trying to stay level. They want to get back to what they were like when they were good.
And in our chat here, Woodward Sports chat, appreciate you guys all tuning in. Chef Talks NFL said, the moment is currently in jeopardy. This is the issue, Booner. I don't know what is in jeopardy. Like, I think there's an over panic. Like, the Detroit Lions, as bad as they have played the last 6 games, the last 6 weeks, they're 4-2 in that stretch. They've been playing bad football, and they still went 4-2. They haven't lost back-to-back games. Now, I get there has been turnovers, but there's been that. We've seen that stretch of football from this regime and these guys, and they've turned it around. So, like, if you go out there and win Saturday, guess what? You set yourself up with like a 90% chance to win the division.
Oh, yeah.
Like, That, like, if you want to say you have 4 games left and the moment's in jeopardy to where you need to basically win one game to give yourself a chance and 2 games to almost lock it in to go out there and win the division and get that moment to the Lions fans. Like 2 years ago, we were all complaining when the Patricia era a couple years ago was happening. We're like, we need something different. If you would have went back in time and looked your old self in the face 3 years ago when Patricia got fired and said, don't worry, Sheila's going to bring in Dan, bring in Brad, and within 3 seasons, you're going to have a division title and a home playoff game. Don't tell me anything about the moments being ruined right now and how bad they're playing. Because right now, they've turned this thing around, and those expectations you wanted this year, guess what? With 4 games left, it is extremely obtainable, even with how bad you've played the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear any of that. Hey, you're ruining the moment. Like they're super bad. There's like, no, they can still go win on Saturday. They need to beat the Vikings one time, and most likely they lock up the division and do what all of you guys wanted them to do. And you guys didn't. And I bet you there was no one that said this regime was going to do that within 3 seasons.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a project that was a 4. That's why they signed Dan Campbell to that long-term deal.
Yeah.
As head coaches.
These are the moments that actually make Super Bowl winners. And I'm not saying the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl because of this moment, but this is the crossroads. This is the time where they figure these things out. They've been playing like a bottom 5, bottom 7 team in the NFL, or they clean up these issues, which they feel confident in. They clean it up and they go on a run. They're dealing with this horrible stretch. There's no way around it. They played pretty horrible and still gotten away with a couple wins here. So this is that moment where they go and they figure out who they are. Are they that team at the beginning of the season that we saw, or are they the team we've watched for the last 4 or 5 weeks? We'll see.
I just wanted to bring that up. I had that that moment earlier today because we've all been so like breaking down this team, going at this team, trying to figure out. I mean, I had the Booner path obviously, so everyone's Booner, you're slappy. And then this week I kind of came to terms a little bit like, hey, maybe this team wasn't as good as we thought. But even then, if they're not as good as we thought, they still have a chance to go out there and do something like extremely special that any Lions team has not been able to do in 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Are you confident the turnovers will stop?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
And at 9:40, remember I said at 9:40, we do have that segment in regards to Ben Johnson, and he did speak about turnovers with Jared Goff. He put it into perspective a little bit in regards to what's happening with Jared Goff, and I trust him.